Okay, we're ready to go. Okay, good morning, everybody. As we go to the chitas of today, today is Wednesday, which is the fourth reading in the portion of we're holding Parshas Chaye Sarah. We are holding on chapter 24, verse 27. We're in the middle of the story of Eliezer and reaching out to find a bride for Yitzhak Avinu. Baruch Hashem Elokei Adonai Avram. He says, "Blessed is the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, Asher le'ozav chasdei, who has not forsaken his loving kindness, v'amitai, and his truth. Me'im Adonai, from my master. I was in the way Nachani Hashem beis achi Adonai. The Lord led me on the road to the house of my master's kinsman, my brother, his relative. Look at that. The Avish God made that I found his my Avraham Avinu's relative right away. Rashi says the designated road, the straight road, on the very road that I needed. Likewise, every Beit Lamed and Hay that served as a prefix and a vowelized with a patach refers to specifics. There is something specific, already mentioned elsewhere, or some object where it's clear and obvious about what one's speaking. So the patach, when you say baderach in that way, it's a specific way. It means God has shown me, Baruch Hashem, a very, very specific way. Atarat Anad and this little beautiful, and the woman and this girl ran. Based on mud, she told her mother's house. She told him what happened. Look at that. We have a visitor from our relative. A visitor from our relative came all the way from Canaan to visit us. She went to her mother. It's customary for women to have a house in which they do their work, and the daughter to find only in her mother. Rivka had a brother. Ushmei Lavan. Rivka had a brother. Lavan, this is the first time we're introduced to the famous guy Lavan, who we will learn about a lot about in the future. Ayoratz Lavan Isha Chutz Elayin, and Lavan ran out to the man that was at the fountain. She says, Lamaratz, what was his rush? Why did he run? Wow, and he saw, look at his sister, she's adorned with all this gold. Amar Ashruzeh. So wow, it's good to have a relative that's rich. We got a relative that's rich. We hit the jackpot. And he ran out and he set his eyes on the money. He said, we have to invite this guy. When he saw it to pass, he saw the nose ring, and all the bracelets on the hand of his sister. When he heard the words of his sister Rivka. So the man spoke. So he came running to the man. It was not a joke. The guy is sitting at the water. Why was he standing at the water? Because to protect the Gemalim. He wanted to make sure nobody was going to take away the Gemalim. When we get to the service, you have to take care of the Gemalim, the camels. Verse 31, Baruch Hashem. He said, come and blessed be the Lord. Lama Tamid Barachad, why are you standing outside? I already cleaned out the house. We already made place. Here we see that Avraham Avinu affected his family all the way to Haran. He affected his family. Look, he talks in the name of God. He has love. Even Lavan has the concept of achnasas orchim, providing guests. I cleaned out the house. The guy Lavan knew that, and Suel knew that Eliezer, they don't believe in idols. He said he wanted to make him comfortable. He said, I cleaned your house out I made sure the house doesn't have any idol worship. I says the man, so Eliezer came to the house. And he unmuzzled the camels. And he gave them straw and fodder. And he washed his feet, and the feet of the men that were with him. The Rashi said he loosened their muzzles so they would be able to or he would shut their mouths, they would not graze in other fields, belong to others. And then they put food in front of him. He said, listen, I'm not going to have a meal until I will say my words. And he said, Daber. Ash says im over here, the word im ad im dibaiti. The word im serves expression of that, expression of ki, until, ad ki, until. This is what the sage of blessed memory said. The word ki serves as 4 meanings. One of these in Aramaic is I, equivalent to word im, if. And he said, I am the servant of Avram. It's interesting that Eliezer in the entire Pasha doesn't say the word Eliezer. It says the person, the man. And now they ask him his name. He still doesn't say his name. He says, I am the servant of Abraham. I don't have any personal agenda. I am here to do my shlichus. I'm here to do my job. I'm the servant of Abraham. Hashem Beinas Avram, and God blessed my master Avram Avinu exceedingly. By Yigdal he became great. By Italate, say no vok of a castle, he gave him sheep, cattle, and silver, bizav, and gold. By Avodim he gave him servants. By Shvachis he gave him maidservant, Gmal and Chamir. He has great success. Ataylim Sarah, Ashes Adeni, and Sarah, my master's the wife, had a child, and then after she was already old, miraculous child, and Avram Avinu gave everything he owns, he gave to the son. How did he show that? So she said he showed them a gift deed. He showed them, here's a document. Everything belongs to Yitzchak. But my master made me swear that I will not take a son from the daughters of Canaan. Which I dwell. Rashi says, unless you first go to my father's house. That's what I'm doing over here. Traveled all this way because I'm trying to do my job. The job is I need to take a girl from here. You must go first to your father's house. You should not wish to follow you. Instead, you must go to my father's house. Into my family. Take a daughter for my son. I said to my master, perhaps the woman will not follow me. She says over here is encrypted statement. Ulai. Depends what you put under the aleph. You see, under the aleph over here is a shuruk. Ulai. It could have been written Eli. So Eli, perhaps it's written with a vav, and it's read Eli without a vav, without the chayl, the u. Maybe it's written with the vav over here means a chayl. So maybe it's written with a tseire, and it's Ulai, Eli. Eliezer had a daughter. Eliezer was thinking, why does Yitzchak have to go and marry some girl in the, have to go to Aram Narayan? I have a daughter. What could be better than my daughter should marry Yitzchak's, Avram's son? So Eliezer had a daughter, and he was looking for a pretext so that Avram will tell him to turn to him. That's what he kept saying. And he says it again. So Avram Avinu says, why can't he marry my daughter? And what will happen if the girl doesn't want to come? So and then Avram said, you're not going to, that Yitzchak will not marry your daughter. So he married off his daughter to him. Abraham said to my son is blessed and you are cursed. It's a hard expression. Eliezer was a descendant of Canaan and was cursed by Noach. He said, "You come from Canaan, which comes from Chum, and I don't want my son to be married to somebody, a descendant who was cursed by Noach. And therefore, I need a child. You need to go find my family from the family of Shem." That was the answer. And a curse cannot work at night with the one who's blessed. Pretty rough. Love Hashem, and God said to him, Asher Salach Lefanav, who's the Lord who's walked, and he said to me, he said to me, Hashem, Asher Salach Lefanav, the Lord who walked before me, Yisha Balachav, he will send his angels, Itach with you. And you'll be successful. You'll take for me a wife, to my daughter, my son, from my family, from the base Avi, from my father's house. He was trying to impress upon them that how divine providence, how everything is divine providence, is they should realize that this was a miraculous situation. You'll be then absolved from my oath. Because you first came to my family to convince my family. If my family will say no, you'll be absolved from the vow. But first, you need to go and get my family to come to give their daughter. So that's why I came today to the fountain. I said, God, the God of Abraham. If you desire to prosper my ways, which I'm going. Rashi says, this is the interesting expression. I came today. Rashi says, today I left and today I arrived. Going from Canaan to Aram Naharaim in those days did not take 1 day. It took days. This was a far trek. Israel to Iraq by foot, by camel. So this is a long trek. So nevertheless, they had a miracle. They left today and they came today. So it was a miraculous journey called Kitzas HaDerech. But maybe we learned that the earth shrank for him, meaning his journey was miraculously short. It's called in Hebrew, Kitzas HaDerech, it's Kitzas HaDerech. We find this expression, we'll find it again later. The Eibush shortened the way. Shortened the way. Amar Avacha. Avacha said, the ordinary conversation of a servant of the patriarchs is more beloved than the before God than the Torah to their sons. Over here, the Torah gives away so much space to this story. A story, a repetition. He's repeating what the Torah already said. So why does the Torah give so much space to this story? There we learn that the stories in the Torah are important. Habakkuk said, from here we learn that the stories of the Torah are important. Because you see that you learn a law from an extra letter. You learn a law from an extra crown on top of a letter. Rabbi Akiva learned laws from a crown on top of a letter. And here, we're giving away so much space for a story. For a section dealing with Eliezer repeated in the Torah, where many fundamentals of the Torah are given only through an illusion. The Mizah. Can you imagine how God loves a story? And the truth is, that's the truth. That why is the importance of a story. The importance of a story of the Torah. The importance of a story of tzaddikim. These are important things. We shouldn't take it for granted. To realize that a story is an important to say a story. And behold, I'm standing at the water fountain. And I said to myself, please, if I was any girl that came out, I would tell her, give me some water and from your pitcher. She would tell me, you shall drink. I'll give water to your camels. Here, Isha. Now I know that this is the right woman. This is a woman that is kind. This is the woman that is kind. You learn a very important thing from it. We should always look for kindness in each other. That's the most important thing, that we're kind to one another. Gamata, Gama Nashishima includes the people that are with him. A bit of an idea. He clarified and made no God shows me. Likewise, every expression of Hifsacha in scripture clarifies the matter. Verse 45, I didn't even finish speaking. I leave it to myself. And behold, this girl Rivka walks out. The Kada Shichma, and she has a pitcher on her shoulder. And she goes down to the fountain. Batishav, and she draws water. And I go over to her. And I ask her to give it. Just to say the beginning of the Rashi, because then Rashi goes and proves that this concept of I am not yet finished. And Rashi goes in this grabber. I tedem. The word Rashi is explaining the word tedem. The word tedem. Tedem. He not yet finished. Similarly, brings out all the places where it says tedem, and it means that it has not yet finished to even say what I said. But verse 46, he hits it and lowered her pitcher. May Allah from her. I tell you, man, she said, say, have a drink. I'm going to give you camels to drink. The Eshka, I drank. She gave me to drink. She gave my camels to drink. And I asked her, verse 47, I asked her, who's you? Wow. You must come from a wonderful family. And she answered me, I am this daughter of Basul, the son who's the son of Nachar. She older Milcah, which Milcah had as a child. So he told me her 3 children, she told me her yichus. And the Asim Nazim al said, I realized, and I put, you asked me why she had all these rings. Because I realized her kindness and that she was from the family. Now she says he reversed the sequence of events. If you look previously in the Torah, it says that at first he put the rings on her and then he asked her who she was. Over here he tells them, I asked her who she was and then I gave her all these gifts. So because in fact, he first given her the jewelry, then asked her. But he changed the order. But they would say, this guy's a little creepy. Why is he giving him all these gifts before he even knows who she is? So at least they catch him in his words. He said, how do you give a jewelry when you don't even know who she was? So therefore, he changed the words. He said, I asked her who she was. And then after I found out that she was a family, not only is she kind, but she's a family, I gave her all these gifts. The main thing is verse 48, Hashem, I knelt and I prostrated myself to God. Hashem, I bless God. Avram, the God of Abraham. Who led me on the true path. Says, Bas Achi, to take the daughter of my master's brother. Livnai, they're marrying a family. Nachar was Avram's brother. So, Nachar, they're cousins. And therefore, you want to do a love and kindness and truth. As Sadaini with my master, tell me right now. I think the shidduch is sold. The fake complete, divine providence, bashet. But you have to give the permission. Say no, say yes, say no, and I'll leave. I'll go to other places. You got to tell me now, before I sit down and eat, I need to know, have I completed the mission or not completed the mission? I'll go to the daughters of Ishmael. I'll smell the slate. I'll go to the daughters of Lot. So you tell me, I'll go to his other family, the Ishmael. I'll try to find a girl from that family. It's also family of Abraham. I'll go to the daughters of Lot. Also family. I'll find other places. But if this is divine providence, if you see the divine providence, say yea and no. Verse 50. Yan Love and Besuel. So Love and Besuel answered by Yemru, and they said, Hashem Yotza Adava. The matter has come out from God. We can't talk good or bad. Now she says, but Yan Love and Besuel. What's going on over here? How does Lovin get into the picture? Lovin is a brother. Besuel is the father. Where does Lovin talk over here? Conversation is between Eliezer and Besuel, not with Lovin. So Lovin was wicked. He comes and jumps in front of his father. Who gives him the right? That shows you already Lovin. We're already setting you up to understand who Lovin is. Like Nuchal Adaba, to refuse in this matter, either with an unfavorable reply or with an appropriate reply. Because it's obvious that the matter has been emanated from the Lord, according to your words, that he does things, what we say, can't say good or bad. Whatever God wants, that's what will happen. The whole Rivka is here. Here she is. You can take her. And let her become a wife to son, master. When Avram heard these words, then he realized, wow, how everything worked out perfect. From here we learn that we must give thanks for a good tiding. We have to thank, there's a bracha, teva, meitiv, there's a blessing that the rabbis instituted, that when you win the lottery, you say a bracha, teva, meitiv, I thank God for the good and for the kindness that he showed. And that's what Eliezer, when he heard their response, he thanked God for everything. That completes the Chumash for today. And now coming to the conclusion of the 29th letter of the Alter Rebbe. Very deep letter. We went into this whole concept. It's extremely deep concept as we ended off yesterday. Alter Rebbe now focused on the distinct quality inherited in the halachas, in the laws of the oral Torah. It is these halachas that reveal the supernal will by defining what is actually requires us in the performance of mitzvahs. In general, there's a concept of a klal and a prat. There's a general concept, like for example, you shall put on tefillin. The general law. It's in one verse. It shall be as a sign on your hand, and as a frontals on your head. So that's a general concept. What a particulars you can go into the Gemara, and then ultimately in halacha there's hundreds of laws. There's hundreds of specifications in the laws of what a tefillin is made, how it's made, where it's made, what it's made from, etc., etc. Prat, that's halacha. Halacha is prat. And ultimately, you cannot accomplish the will of God without knowing the prat, without knowing the halacha, without knowing the law. If I'm just going to say, I want to connect myself to God, if that's the whole concept of tefillin, so I'll take a box, I'll take a book, I'll take a chumash, and I'll bind it on my hand. No, there's halacha. Tefillin is a black box. It's made out of leather. It has to be 4-cornered box. It has to be black. Straps at it. There's hundreds and hundreds of laws. And ultimately, I cannot not do the halacha. I cannot do the mitzvah, without knowing and doing the halacha. Mitzvahs kilchasa. Importance of the halacha. That means where is God's will revealed? In the halacha, in the law. That's where God's will is revealed, in the specifications of this law. Without the specifications of this law, we really don't know God's will, or we don't accomplish God's will. That's the way you accomplish will in general. If I ask you for something, I ask you for vanilla ice cream, for example, you bring me chocolate ice cream, you don't accomplish my will. You brought me ice cream, I like vanilla ice cream. So to accomplish my will, you need to do the specific. You can't just say, oh, I brought you ice cream. It's not my will. My will is vanilla ice cream. And I'm not happy. I'm happy you brought me ice cream and not vanilla. And therefore, you haven't accomplished my will. So therefore, to accomplish God's will, we need to do the specifics, the prat, the halacha. What is the halacha? Not just the spirit of the concept, but the specifics of the concept. The spirit of the concept, I can accomplish in many ways. I can accomplish it spiritually. But no, the will of God needs to be accomplished in the specific, in the basic, specific what God wanted. So in essence, what does that mean? That means the will of God that's higher than wisdom. If you understand this concept, you'll understand that the will of God, which we express as higher than wisdom itself, is more, comes down even to a place that's higher than that's lower than wisdom in action. So the wisdom of God is the cloud. The Torah is the wisdom of God, is the general concept. It can be a philosophical concept. The will of God needs to come into the physical, to the particular, to the detail. The will of God needs to come into the detail. And I gave you a simple example. I love ice cream. But in detail, I love vanilla ice cream. I actually love chocolate ice cream. The chocolate ice cream. That's the ice cream I like. If you know what I like and you want to get me ice cream, you're going to buy me chocolate ice cream. Because if you're going to buy me tubs of vanilla ice cream, I'll thank you, but I'm not going to eat it. Or I surely won't eat it with the same excitement like you're going to buy me a vanilla chocolate ice cream. So that means that my will comes down into a very specific thing. So to God's will comes down into a very specific concept, very detailed. That's halacha, very detailed. Now it is known that the supernal will, the supernal will of God, not under wisdom, but the will of God, is vested in the 613 commandments, written in the Torah. Is all hidden. It's general. Right? I just said a verse. You shall bind it on your hand, and they shall be as a sign between your eyes. What does that mean? What does that mean? It's a general concept. I can give it to you. Give me 100 things. So it's mechusa. It's covered. It is secret. Common vanilla. It's concealed. Where is it revealed? In Torah Shabbat and Halacha. It's revealed in Halacha. In Torah Shabbat, the Gemara, Shulchan Aruch, etc. It manifests only in oral Torah. It's fascinating that it only can manifest itself in oral Torah. It only can manifest itself in oral Torah. Torah Shabbat, which is the wisdom of God, doesn't manifest itself in a practical way only in Torah Shabbat, in the oral law. That's why as Jews we believe Torah Shabbat and Torah Shabbat was given at the same time. But it was given, one was given writtenly, Torah Shabbat, the written Torah, and then you have Torah Shabbat, the oral law. Look at that, the Alter Rebbe gave my analogy. I gave the Alter Rebbe. Now, but Torah Shabbat, it's written in Torah Shabbat, you shall bind them for a sign on your hands. And there shall be a frontals between your eyes. What does that mean? If anybody's going to come up and tell me what this means, if you wouldn't open the Gemara, what does this mean? Whoever came up that it means a box, these two black boxes on your head and these straps. I mean, who would come up with such a thing? I can come up with 500 different things. This is indistinct and obscure statement. So like the Torah doesn't tell you what to bind. Where did the Torah say what to bind? What means between the eyes? I'm sorry, what means frontals? And what means beinei necha? What means between the eyes? The tzeduk and the sadist says between the eyes, you need to put your film right over here, between your eyes. The rabbi said you got to put on your head between your eyes. If you put it between your eyes, you're a sadducee, you're a tzeduki, and you're not doing the halacha. What it says between your eyes. What means on your hand? Maybe it means to put the tefillah on your hands. What is it? How do you know it means you have to put it on your bicep? Your arm, it says on your hand. So maybe you just put your tefillah on your hand. Until the oral law. Till you learn the Gemara, you learn halacha. You have to put a box on your hand. One complete box on your hand, the dalet bottom, and 4 boxes on your head. And in this box is 4 parshas. In the hand box is 4 parshas altogether. In the head 4 boxes, you have 4 separate portions in the head box. And the box itself is made out of leather. Remove it. Prepared leather. It needs to be square. All this we learn in Teilish Balpeh. In the oral law, it needs to be boxes. It needs to be 4 portions. It needs to be leather. It needs to be square. And guess what? It needs to have straps, leather straps. And guess what? It needs to be black. Where does it say, where do you get that black in the verse? Why not green? Why not white? No, it needs to be black. If you have it in any other color, not kosher. You're not doing the mitzvah. The whole shadi prati hilchas asiyas tefillin, and go learn halacha. There's hundreds of laws in how to make this tefillin, how to make this box. Tefillin needs to be made by the hand. Tefillin needs to be made by hand. You cannot have a machine make your tefillin. You should know. They're all handmade. Not that they pick up leather and put it in a computer and the tefillin shoots out. Forget about the portions. The tefillin itself, the box itself, needs to be made by hand. The tefillin needs to be made l'shem mitzvah. That's important. That's why it's important that where anybody buys that tefillin. Because it needs to be done for the sake of a mitzvah. If you had somebody do the tefillin and he didn't have a mind for the sake of the mitzvah tefillin, it has no value. It might be beautiful boxes, but they have no value. So there's hundreds of laws. So I see it Tisha B'Av Peh, which is the old part of the old tradition. It's all part of Tisha B'Av Peh, the oral law. On your hand, it doesn't mean your head. It means, refers only to the arm and not to the palm of the hand. Ubeini necha, and between your eyes. This refers to your scalp. It means over here, your tefillin is not allowed to pass your forehead. It cannot pass with your hairline. From your hairline, if you don't have hair, but we used to have hair. So it needs to it's not allowed to pass your hairline to where after your hairline starts your forehead. Your tefillin needs to. A lot of times you see people that tefillin almost on the nose, and it's not. You have your tefillin is not allowed to pass your head, your hairline. It has to be between your eyes. Not on the forehead. If you see a person praying with his tefillin on his forehead, even not in between his eye, but it's on his forehead, then he's not do the mitzvah. And thus, only the details of halacha, of the oral law, enables us to perform the mitzvah in keeping with the supernal will. And that's what's important. You might have the philosophy, you put on the tefillin, you might have all the philosophy, you might have all the intentions, you might have all the spiritual dimensions. But you didn't do God's will. We didn't do God's will. Why? Because we didn't go to the detail. And you're right. Philosophy doesn't come into detail. Because philosophy, who cares about the detail? It's the concept. That's great. Philosophy, it can be in concepts. But will, if you understand the concept of rotzing is in the detail. Because only rotzing has the capability to come in the detail. Rotzing is will. Therefore, all mitzvahs Torah, may mitzvah say, may mitzvahs places. Whether it's a positive commandment, whether it's a negative commandment, you don't. That's what you'll see. The majority, or almost all mitzvahs in the Torah, you push it, don't know it without Torah Shema. You have no comprehension. Like shechita. I think every mitzvah, like shechita, so concept of slaughtering, where it's a 2 words in the Torah, where it says 1 word, vayishcha. What does that mean? You know how many laws there are in shechita? How to slaughter, what knife to use? There's hundreds of laws. You have to be a sheikhet. Or Alter Rebbe gives another analogy. The Torah says 1 word, loy sasa melacha. That's the whole prohibition on Shabbos. You know how many laws on Shabbos there are? Even the basics, 39 malachas, as he says. So you have 3 words in the Torah. Lo sasa melacha. Don't do work. Bingo. But like pen my malacha, the Torah says, what is work? With Teresh Baped and Farish, therefore you have to go to Teresh Baped. But that's malachas you do. It's a 39 general words. Like Tiptap Vodakeres Kvedis doesn't mean to. So it doesn't mean you're not like carry stones and heavy stones. In my house, I can carry stones and heavy beams. Is that a hard work? Yeah. But I can't carry outside my house if I don't have an Erev outside my house. Something that is light. Carrying something around a house, well, is a prohibition. And carrying a heavy table in my house is not a prohibition. Now that makes sense. That's logical. If it's work, so the carrying of the heavy table in my house is more labor than me just carrying something outside my house. So though carrying racks and beams is more tiring than some of the 39 prohibitions of work, it does not fall in the category of work in the Torah prohibits on Shabbos. Going to a Turner reading of our text, not only the carrying of stones and heavy beams, this work is prohibited. And the Torah, thus the Ramban, Hashem states the term Shabbaton, the day of rest, is usually regarded to Yontiv. I'm gonna skip this because it's gonna take us off the point. Let's go right. As it is with these, as I just gave examples, Shabbos, Tefillin, all the mitzvahs, Bey mitzvah say, Bey mitzvah slay say, whether it's a positive or a negative, And stumais relay mefurashes. They are really in the Torah in general. They're very hidden. Relay gluyas, and they're not in the indistinctive. And are explicit. They are revealed only and understood. Ella they teresh mapeh only in the oral law. And that's why it's written. Al teresh mapeh. Al teresh mapeh, the oral law, it's written. Al titesh teresim. Do not forget the teachings of your mother. V'shekas b'zoya, as written in Zoya. Why does Teresh mapeh call the mother? Metaphorically speaking, just like all the organs of a child are comprised in a very latent way in the sperm of the father. So the sperm of the father is one drop. And within this drop, you have the whole child. But it's very hidden. And then the mother takes that drop and he now, and through 9 months, it creates a child. It creates, gives birth to a child. They're all in that drop. So too. So too is exact analogy. 240 positive precepts and 360 prohibited precepts emerge from obscurity, manifestation to the oral, which is therefore called the teachings of your mother. And that's why in the beginning of the verse it says, Shema b'ni musar avicha. Heed, my son, the admonition of your father. That's Torah Shabbat Ksav. Al titesh Torah simecha. And don't forget the teachings of your mother. So over here, the pasuk in essence alludes itself to the two teachings. The teachings of Torah Shabbat Ksav, the written law, which is just, in a way, it's the wisdom of God, which the wisdom of God is sometimes above understanding. And we need Torah Shabbat to be able to reveal the wisdom of HaKadosh Baruch. This is also the meaning. The expression, a woman of valor is the crown of her husband. So that's the point. The oral law is the woman, is the Eishes Chayil, the woman of valor. Which gives birth and rages many legions. She is the crown of Torah. She is the crown. I mean, what's the crown of the Torah? Is the Torah Shabbat Peh. We shouldn't look at Torah Shabbat Peh as secondary to Torah Shabbat Ksav. No, Eishes Chayil Ateres Baila. A woman of valor crowns her husband. So even if we can look at Torah Shabbat Ksav, the written law as the Baila, as the man, so to say, as these concepts, and the law is the specifics. No, she crowns her husband. Because without the Torah Shabbat Peh, without the Isha, this would never develop. This would always be it would always be uncertain. It will always be left to everybody's imagination. As is written, alamis, maidens without number. I'll take alamis ela, don't say alamis, but say worlds. These are innumerable worlds, alluding to the Echalas and to the without number, as a statement in Tikkun. The Torah continues to expound alamis in this. The halacha, take one pasuk, take one verse like the law of Shabbos, 3 words, leisasim halacha, and you have Masechta Shabbos. Tractate of Shabbos is like 172 pages. Then you have Shulchan Aruch on Shabbos, etc., etc. And that's the beauty. And that's where the expression K'Yashlemer Shabbos Kil Chosed, that we definitely not keep Shabbos only in a spiritual sense, but Kil Chosed, the way God wanted every one of us to keep Shabbos, which is not an easy thing to do. That's what the Torah says. It's expression. Whoever keeps Shabbos, it's all the Jewish people who keep Shabbos. Even one more time, the entire Jewish nation will keep Shabbos. Mashiach. So we kept Shabbos one time in history. If they're going out of Egypt, all Jews kept one Shabbos. And since then, we're still waiting for the entire Jewish nation to be able to keep one Shabbos. But all these halachas are manifestations of the supernal will, which is hidden in the written law. So the oral law is called woman of valor, for it gives birth to the multitude of legions of laws. Alter Rebbe now answered one of his opening questions. Why is it specifically halachas are referred to the crown of Torah? Also, why individuals who study specific halachas every day are assured to the world to come? This was the beginning of the letter. So that's the beauty of learning Peder Shebal Peh. That's the beauty of learning Jewish law, because you are connecting to the Ratzon of the Eibush, not only to the wisdom of God, you are ultimately understanding the will of God. And as we explained, the supernal will which belongs to spirit of Chesed, the crown is exceedingly more sublime than the level of supernal wisdom. Just the crown, just like a crown is above the king's head. And therefore, halachas, the specifics, are considered a crown. They're called the crown of the. That's why in synagogues we put a crown on the table, on the reasons. We put a crown on the table. God's wisdom. But we crown it. The crown of the Torah is the will of the Torah, the way God's wisdom comes into a reality through halach, the Jewish Torah. Likewise, whoever studies specific halachas, Muftach Shula ben Eilam Haba is assured to share the world to come. Now, the Eslapshus Nefesh Baruch Hu, because self-understood by learning halachas, learning the law, not only learning in general, learning wisdom of God, but learning the specifics, learning Torah Shebal Peh to understand how to bring it down into a specific reality. Investing his nefesh in the supernal will of God, you're going to become connected to something that's higher than this world. That's why you'll merit to the world to come. As stated above, the garment of the soul, the will to come, are the mitzvahs. They embody the supernal will, clarifies and delineates the Allah. And that completes the 29th letter of the Alter Rebbe. Truly beautiful. Just lost everybody. Hello?
Hello?
I don't know what happened. I think I lost the internet. I got
No, you still got the internet, but maybe the the speed is not supporting everything.
It's still good. You're still there.
Okay. At least we fit. It's turning in circles running. So I don't see you guys. So,
I thought it was a pregnant pause. It was a beautiful moment, and everything stopped.
yeah, everything stopped. Okay,
You're
so
beautiful.
today is the 22nd day of the month, which the Tillim is. So I want to wish you all a great day, and a Midshem, we'll see you tomorrow, 8:00. I don't
What's
see you.
Tefillin? What's Tefillin? You
What?
dropped out.
I said the Tillim is 106, 107, and we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
Weird.